The Polity, every weekdays at 9:15 a.m. Exclusive on Udala 104.7 FM Onitsha.
We have come again to take a look at happenings in and around Nigeria on today's edition of the Polity on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. The past 24 hours have been a lot. From that sitting with SEDC, and that's the Southeast Development Commission, and the members of the Senate, including stakeholders like Ojizo Kanu, and of course over to the back and forth that have trailed that interview of Kenneth Okonkwo on the 8th of June. That was 2 days ago, where he made damning allegations. Waking up this morning, we realized that His Excellency, Mr. Peter Obi, former governor of Anambra State, and of course, LP candidate 2023, and of course, NDC candidate for 2027, has sued him. And according to reports, he has a lot of recanting to do, stand risk of 5 billion naira in damages. And of course, a lot of men, I hope I don't murder this man's name, Franklin Obunike Ohebu. That's the man that Kenneth Okonkwo quoted during that interview, has also run to the same platform to defend himself. A lot has been said, and would keep you up to speed with all of those. We understand that the price of LPG has risen by 67%. So invariably, the cost of LPG is increasing. Families are porting to charcoal cooking. Everyone is running away from LPG now. And the question is, how much longer are Nigerians going to suffer? With the federal government saying that Nigeria is on the right track. The question is, do you feel on the right track? Does your pocket feel on the right track? When you are going home, are you watching over your shoulder if you're on the right track? That's a rhetoric. I leave you to answer that question for yourself. I am Chisom Chinedu. Good morning to you. Franklin Ebuka is here. Good morning, Franklin.
Good morning, Chisom. Good morning to our dear listener. Of course, like you said, that we have once more congregated for us to look at developments in the polity, and we have a lot of things for us to chew this very morning, because from the home front here, yesterday we saw how Mark Okoye, the managing director of SEDC, was placed before the crucible He and the members of his team attended a Senate hearing, or if you like, an oversight by Senate Committee on SEDC led by Senator Ojozo Kallo. And we saw clips from that very interface or interaction, and it's been generating so much reactions, and it's been deluge of condemnations against Mark and Co. and lots of questions. But the question has been, if you look at the clips out there in the media, would you say that the clips are enough to actually understand what happened there? Would you say that he was given enough chance for him to defend what the SEDC has been doing? Which I know that in the course of today's conversation we are going to get around that. And I must say that in about 3 minutes ago, SEDC has released a statement on its Facebook page detailing some of the issues raised there, like the issue of the supposed rent paid for 153 million. SEDC has explained what that figure entails. So by the time we get into conversation, we'll be able to understand more. Then on the other side, you mentioned Obaniko Hebu, Kenneth Okonkwo, and what have you not. It's been a handful. Kenneth was on TV, spilled what he spilled, mentioned Obanike. Obanike went for right to reply and tried to deny some of the things that Kenneth Okonkwo said. And Kenneth went on Twitter tirade yesterday. If you check his Twitter page, you see that if he didn't make posts yesterday, he made not less than 20 posts in respect to that, trying to explain his own part, and then even dropping some screenshot of the WhatsApp messages he exchanged with Obaniko Hebu. And then on the other side, some other things that actually happened, which by the time we get into this very conversation, we'll be able to highlight some of them and then give a proper perspective. You mentioned cooking gas. Okay. As God may have it, I purchased LPG yesterday. It was 1,800 naira per kg.
That's still quite high.
Quite high, of course. I keep on saying this thing. Is it not the same? Like, okay, let's say I bought a 6 kg. The same 6 kg I used to fill with 4,500. At the point they got to 5,600, 6,000 plus. Last one I filled was 8,000 plus. But the one I did yesterday was 10,800.
Yes, 6 kg.
So that tells you the challenge that we Nigerians are having now.
And that used to at least fuel my 12 kg.
Of course. That's the challenge we're having now. Because now if you want to cook with kerosene, it's on the high side. If you want to cook with cooking gas, it's on the high side. If you want to cook even with charcoal, it's not even cheap per se. If you want to use firewood to cook, issue of climate change, issue of not being clean energy and what have you not, and then the health issues associated with it. So what are the options for Nigeria now, or for Nigerians now? And lastly, yesterday the Commissioner for Information and Anambra State, he dropped a statement on the outcome of the ANSEC meeting they had on Monday. And in that very statement, there was a part that talked about the state government plan to go into housing scheme in partnership with a private individual so that they'll be able to offset, or they'll be able to rise to the housing challenge in the state. And I've seen different headlines in the media saying that Anambra State government is moving to regulate house rent. And I've been at a loss because I have gone through that very statement to see where they talk about
rent regulation.
Nothing like that. What government says that is going to launch initiatives in partnership with private individuals aimed at addressing the housing deficit in Anambra State. And I've checked it. As of the last record, I think about 2 years ago, Anambra has a housing deficit record of about 600,000. That's according to data.
And that means that about 600,000 people are not properly housed. Or households, as the case may be.
That's what it figures there.
That's alarming. Where are all of those people going to live?
And I'm wondering if we're going to address this very housing deficit, and let's assume that the government is able to build 10,000 housing units in a year, it might take us up to 60
years
to be able to do that. And I checked the records of what Lagos State is doing. Lagos State has been doing housing scheme, and they've been doing between 1,650 and 2,000 housing units per year. So the thing is, it's a good one that government is taking in that very direction. But the issue of housing deficit is a tall order that if we want to address it, it needs to be there needs to be a plan that is going to span over years for us to address that.
And one that is going to be sincerely adhered to.
Exactly.
Did you see videos of Adam Baka trending?
When you hear the other day we raised this issue of Adam Baka, and I said that these days there are some videos I will see, I will judge Trump. What is going to force me? What is just going to force me to go and look at the videos is perhaps when it becomes too compelling that I must look at it. In the course of my job, I might go back to the reason is this: the issue of talking about clerics doing this, doing that, doing this. I'm really tired about it, and I can't fathom why it's going the way it's going. Normally, they're supposed to function under the unction of the Holy Spirit, but sometimes when you look at things the way they happen, it appears as if people are now behaving, humanly, like every other human. And then for you to save your mental health, of course you have to find a way to avoid certain content. I think on this platform that these days I don't frequent X anymore. I just go there, pick information and run, because each time I go there I see some element of toxicity. So for my mental health, I have this selective exposure now. So let me leave it at this point in time.
It's actually very scary, especially since these men of God are supposed to be providing guidance and maybe some sort of cushion for other people. But Dr. Tony Olisembeki is here. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning to you, Good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, the good people of Southeast. Good morning, Inde and Nambara. Good morning, Onitsha. Good morning, Indosumo. Good morning, everyone under the reach of a voice. I wouldn't say good morning to anybody who is doing anything fake. When we are talking about fake DBS, fake pastors, fake drug dealers, because we should also consider fake drug dealers anybody who does anything fake. We should also be wary about individuals like that. We say good morning to different professionals and also artisans, those who manage the informal sector. In the informal economy has always been the backbone and the cornerstone of every economy. The market woman, the market man, put them together, aggregate them. They are carouseller, the person who does the work of sanitizing or doing some laundry jobs. We say good morning to everyone. Thank God Almighty for a day like this. Another day, today being the 10th day in the month of June in the year 2026. Wednesday morning, that's the day, and we're back in the sanctuary to profess the truth, to do our evangelical work as we usually do. But this time around, we'll have to up the ante because of the time we are in and a lot of things going on in the polity. Just sit back and enjoy the program.
All right, then we're going to start off by telling you what the front pages say, and from there, we'll dive into the conversation proper. On our table today, just to note, the pages of the papers are covered with advertorials, and this is from the FCTA management. And the Vanguard is here, Daily Sun, Punch, and The Guardian. On the front page of the Vanguard, above the nameplate, IMF cancels FG against $5 billion UAE loan, 6 higher taxes. Page 11, after rescue of 416 captives in Borno, 11 more kidnapped women regain freedom. Page 6, reps summon service chiefs, finance minister over security spending. Page 8, Nigeria moving in right direction, the federal government is saying. On page 5, the rad is here. Unveils Tinubu's scorecard, defends reforms, highlights economic gains, 1 million student loan beneficiaries, tax reforms, anti-graft successes, says it is prepared to be judged by evidence. And of course, if you dig further into the Vanguard newspaper, Nigeria's pension assets hit 32 trillion naira. FG says IMF article, IV report validates its reforms. A woman detained in Edo community after allegedly throwing 5-year-old baby into river. Tinubu's aides accuse Obi of misinforming Nigerians on debt profile. Ngo shares stakeholders hailed Tinubu, others disown Kaigama role in rescue for 16 captives. Kano government, we are building or rebuilding education from ground up. FG threatens sanctions over Abuja Lokoja road delays. June 12 annulment unjustified, painful. Akume or Nanuga. Xenophobia. First batch of Nigerians repatriated from South Africa arrives Thursday. Over 15,000 homes under construction. Tinubu highlights progress and housing promise. EFCC arraigns Blessing, CEO over fresh alleged 69.15 million naira fraud. Remands influencer Franklin.
Did you see my face? When I read that she was granted bail, I'm just thinking it was just on one case. Until I decided to read the story, it happened that from the very first case, she has got into another one on similar thing, obtaining by false pretense. And does that mean that has been the way she's been funding her lifestyle? Go to pose as what you are not, go to present a property that does not belong to you as if it belongs to you, for you to be able to obtain money and use. Well, let's see how he gets out from there, because she has the 2 EFCC cases now, and she still has the cancer scandal still hanging around her neck. Okay.
What would have made the difference for a person like Blessing? She already has a big platform. Find a business. People will always buy. But instead, she sought the short way out, and this is where she is at the moment.
It's quite sad. I won't go into deep to talk about the impression I had of her after I met her in Oka in 2021. There was one Jasmine event that we attended that she came there. So I'm going to leave that whatever out. So let's get to the Daily Sun newspaper to see the headlines there. We have this story that says FG admits challenges but insists in boost reforms working. List achievements on page 6 of the Daily newspaper. Tinubu has plunged Nigeria into 200 trillion naira debt. P2B on page 15 of Daily Sun. Labour demands immediate renegotiation of minimum wage on page 6. This one says IGP deploys DIGs, others to rescue Oyo pupils, teachers on the hurt. Others clamp down on unregistered concealed vehicle number plate on page 4. Then you see the advertorial of the ongoing commissioning of projects in FCT by the FCT minister. Of course, today is the day 2. I must say that the likes of Daily Sun, in fact, all the national dailies that have been getting this very advertorial, they want it not to cease because they are making so much money. If they're going to have this very advertorial for 31 days, Tony, this is a huge amount of money that must have been spent at the end of the day for advertorial about what FCT administration has been able to achieve in the past 2 to 3 years. Other headlines that can be checked on the Daily Sun newspaper, you see this very one that talks about, okay, so this one says the presidency counters Obi, links debt surge to Naira devaluation. This is in response to the headline where Obi talked about the government plunging Nigeria into about 300 trillion Naira debt. And this one says Atiku challenges Lawal to substantiate ADC primary organ claim. This is Babachiu Lawal. That was last 2 weeks or thereabout. He wrote things about Atiku, so he's now responding. 2027, INEC fixes June 26 to issue official access code to parties to upload candidates' details. Enugu police debunks school attack report. Did you see that? We saw videos of school children running helter-skelter in a school in Ezago. But Enugu State Police Command later issued a statement saying that he's been able to do his own investigation, that nothing like that happened. So, do not know, because for some days now, they're having different rumors about possible attack on certain areas in Enugu State. One claimed that it was going to be in the area of Holy Ghost, some claim on UNN, all of them were dismissed, and now we have this latest one coming from the police. Then other headlines on Daily Sun newspaper, inside page now, Tinubu appoints Baja Biamila, head of Ebola task force, approves 10 billion naira emergency fund. Xenophobic attacks, first batch of Nigerians to arrive from South Africa tomorrow. Dixon meets with Kwankwaso loyalists over Kano primaries dispute. And last one says the Senate seeks ban on importation of textile materials to revive industries. These are the headlines we have on Daily Sun newspaper.
All right, then from Daily Sun, let's take a look at some of the stories on the Punch newspaper. And of course, you'd see INEC plans Friday mock accreditation to boost election preparedness. A post-primary chaos worsens as INEC fixes candidate submission deadline. Tinubu inaugurates Ekiti flyover, says Oyebanji deserves re-election. Assembly adopts report on royal family land claim. Lagos Commission urges young leaders to drive governance reforms. Lagos moves to track investment deals beyond summit. 48 hours to World Cup opening ceremony. Protesters block road to Mexican stadium. Resign if you can't end insecurity, reps tell service chiefs. Lagos Labour leader dies in Geneva conference. Meets the 3 women running to become the UN's first female Secretary General. Imahi gives Abuja Lokoja Highway contractor 72 hours to mobilize. Blessing CEO gets 10 million naira bail remanded for fresh 69 million naira scam. Tinubu approves 10 billion naira emergency funding for Ebola response. Opposition using insecurity to discredit Tinubu's administration. That is credited to Akpabio. And NAS will pass state place bill this week. Senate leader on page 3. Nigeria's foreign debt to hit $72.6 billion after 2027 polls. IMF is projecting, and that's on page 9. The rest editorials.
I beg, does anybody know how much it costs to place these editorials on the front page of national dailies? For instance, for Punch, because I've been trying to get the figures, but what I've been getting, it's not too striking.
This is sponsored by Wiki. Emma could sponsor a party for an entire state.
I'm getting something more than $1 million.
For one paper?
For one paper.
So give or take, a little less or more than 5 million. It's so nothing for Wiki.
What I'm wondering is this, that if in a day, the editorial is on the front page of 5 newspapers, let's assume it's 10 million, for instance, and it runs for 31 days. It's a big money. Public funds.
Well, most times the idea and the intentions behind this advertorial could be just not beyond financial issues. There are times he is doing this as a way of patronizing the owners of the papers, to have them in his good book, to have them in his pay book. And when you have, if you have them in, so they will not report very hard stories about you. It's a way of trying to cage them. It's a way of trying to tell them, you can report anything about me, but be fair. Don't go harsh. Don't go critical. Don't go below the belt. Check some of these papers, how they have been telling wicked stories. It's not just you how to patronize them. It's a way of trying to mortgage any form of potency, any potent attack they could throw at him. Remember, media remains one of the most potent arsenals, weapons, when it comes to any warfare, political warfare, or even normal conventional warfare. Media. And what he has done is to have them on his good side so that they would not unleash that kind of vitriolics that ordinarily they could have done. Remember the kind of media attack Nigerian media had on Abacha during that period. It was something that international communities, because whatever our Nigerian media's report, international communities follow Nigerian media very well. They follow Nigerian media. And at times, even different either conventions or even those in United States of America, the Congress, the Senate, they cite some of the things reported in Nigerian media which helps them in certain resolutions or certain decisions. When look at what happened the other time during the issue of Christians and being persecuted or not being persecuted. Nigerian media was quoted, was cited, and it was one of the things that led to U.S. decisions. Now, having known that this could be this, have them on your paybook, not giving them money directly, but as a way of patronizing them.
Okay.
They couldn't be so harsh on
All right.
you.
So Nigerians are now calling for the head of MAC because they believe that he has spent so much money on conferences, seminars, media and what have you not. Like, I don't know why this has been bugging my mind about these media razzmatazz that Wike does and how it affects public funds. Let's assume that he spends 15 million naira on advertorials. I checked about 7 newspapers this very morning. They all have the advertorial on the front page. So let's assume that he spent 15 million naira daily to put all this advertorial. So for 31 days, he has spent 465 million naira on advertorial.
Tell me something new. It's not going to stop him from doing it next year.
You haven't talked about the one he's been spending on doing, let me not use the word useless, on doing his media, monthly media chat. But let's get to the.
Do you know the cost of a plot of land in Abuja, frankly?
No, I'm not.
If you know the
cost. What I'm talking about, it's not about the cost of a plot of land. The money comes, what I'm saying, the money coming is not his personal money.
But then he has access to it.
It's the money.
No accountability. No accountability.
And he spends the money the way he wants.
No accountability because he wanted this and it was granted. He went to Mr. President when he was appointed Minister of FCT and he said he wanted the FCT to be independent in terms of revenue, in terms of expenditure, in terms of everything, to be taken away from the civil service rule. The President granted that. And he has since started seeing himself as the executive governor of that very state. And even the National Assembly that he's supposed to oversight on his activities. What is National Assembly doing? How many times have they extended invitation to Wike on certain projects, on certain expenditures, the way they did to Mark yesterday?
Oh, wow.
Yes, how many times? Because anything about FCT is under the legislative oversight of the National Assembly, the House of Representatives. Have they done that? The Senate, have they done that? Have they asked Wike questions about these advertorials where he makes money? Have they ever thought about auditing FCT accounts, the land sales, the land proceeds, the revenue generated? Have they done that? Let us be serious in this country.
Because I'm just wondering whether if there's any special media budget from which he's been spending all this humongous amount of money. Okay, let's see the headlines we have on the Garden is Prepared. The big story there says, from stoves to smoke, households ration swap to charcoal as cooking gas records 67% spike on page 6. Or for the Guardian, court rulings threaten 2027 election timetable INEC warns on page 6. IMF backs Nigeria's reform progress, warns poverty, food insecurity may worsen on page 16. Senate to consider single term for president, governors after 2027 polls on page 3. And then the advertorial coming from the FCT minister. And then quickly from the inside page, we have a couple of headlines there to highlight. And okay, so let's see this very one. This one says, Falana warns 2027 polls at risk amid insecurity poverty. INEC aligns PDP executive list with Wike faction. Senate moves to halt textile imports, seek revival of local industry. Defense HQ debunks AI-generated video of Gwabin. This one says Tinubu's aid knocks P2B, cites reason for rising debt profile. And the big one also says Elumelu named Sepla chairman in landmark succession plan. These are the headlines we have this very morning from the papers.
And of course, we are moving to the conversation proper. And of course, Southeast Development Commission has been on the news, Tony. I'm pretty sure that you followed the grilling that happened yesterday. It's been interpreted in several forms, and a lot of questions have risen from the figures being quoted. And Southeast Development Commission has about this morning put out a statement to explain its stand. Let me take a look at some of the things said. It said SCDC affirms commitment to transparency and full disclosure following Senate committee session. And of course, we understand that that session yesterday had a huge question being raised, 153 million in rent. And according to Senator Ojuzo Kano, the space being paid for is a one-room space. And we understand that it's quite a 3-page detail on expenditure. But let me let you, Tony, tell us what you think. 16.6 billion. That is what. Oh, yes. We have videos of what transpired yesterday. So 16.6 billion naira. That is what the probe is surrounded around. And I recall, according to Mark Okoye, yesterday, he said about 11 to 13 billion is still sitting in the account, waiting for the spending on other things and executions they intend to make. But first of all, let's take a listen to some of the things that transpired yesterday. Starting with this one.
Central Bank, you receive 16.6 billion. How much is left in your account? Which is what we are going to do. No. That's what you told you. No, sir. Which is like Abari just told you left 29 million. That's what you wrote. You're under oath. Yes, sir. You're under oath. I'm under oath, and I explained what I mean by. No. Wait. How much? Just answer my question. Don't divert it. How much is left in the bank today? Excuse me. No, please, I didn't ask you any question. It's to the MD. Can I answer? Yes. I can answer, Mr. Chairman. I ask you a direct question. Yes. At the last I checked, and the last information that was given to me, the SCDC should have at least between 11.5 to 12 billion in its account. You have 13.something billion as of today. Okay. I said last I was. No, as of today, I'm going to Central Bank. You know, in the committee, we have access to anywhere you can spend money and keep money. These people you see here, they are not the people you know. We are government officials. I've spoken to Central Bank. I can go to my office and give you the document now. And we have sent the accountant general, auditor general, will come to audit everything you have done. Because I'm not impressed. You are giving us this route. Look at that paper. Completed and imperative and not imperative. What does that mean? It means nothing in English. We are not satisfied with your job. This is not a job.
And so, you know, a person speaking right now is Senator Orji Zokalo.
Somebody that claimed to be an expert like you should be doing. I'm very disappointed, and this committee is very, very, very disappointed. I will give you 1 week to go back and tell us the whole truth on this thing and come back to the committee, because you are wasting our time. Mr. Chairman, I informed you about that on Friday. No, you said I must come. No, yes, you told me. No, I have evidence. Why? No, I said the documents are being put together. No, you come back. I don't even want to argue with you. And you said that we must come and speak to them. Now, and then after that, we'll go and bring the documents and document them and listen to me. That's what you go back. We want to see you back next Tuesday. Who is in charge of it? I am happy that wait. Because you have one little office here in Abuja, and you pay 153 million by one room. This committee goes in Abuja. Then yes, of course, it's true. The committee can come for an oversight visit to our office. No, we are not going to come there. We send our clerk and people to do it. We don't want to have anything to oversight. Our headquarters is in Enugu. Okay, sir. And we don't want to hear anything that you are spending money. You spend 153 million. We have evidence. Listen to me. You are dealing with people who are gone far than you think we can go. This is why I'm warning you people, let us not continue this joke here, because if these gentlemen here release what they want to ask, you will not be able to leave this place. That is the truth. And I want to save you the problem. Go back, we'll keep these documents, go back in the next 1 week, you come back at 2 p.m.
All right, Tony, you have a hang on this already. So let's start with what you think about everything that went down yesterday. Figures being quoted, questions being asked. The SEDC has been around for a little over 2 years, and people from the Southeast are still waiting for actual implementations. What do you have to say?
Well, I'm actually happy that some of the things like these are coming up. Just like I was saying, I would have loved Orji Zokalo, Abaribe, and co and other senators who are members of that very committee to also grill Yeson Wike the way they grilled Mark. The idea is to promote accountability, to promote probity, and exactly what they're doing is exactly what a legislature like we have should be doing. But situations where they do this selectively, and how many times have they been able to grill ministers of the federal government and even the president?
But while that is a pertinent point, Tony,
But
don't you
no,
think it's immaterial?
No. I'm going to come to the merit of what happened yesterday, but I'm setting up the foundation. Some will tell you, no matter how selective something is, the most important thing is that there are those that are being oversighted. But we can grow as a country if we do this holistically. Let's get into the whole thing that happened yesterday. Southeast Development Commission, as we know, was one of the novel ideas promoted by different stakeholders, especially from Southeast, and even those who are also from other regions, because they have also canvassed for their own regional development. And Mr. President did the noble by signing the commission into law. It was signed into law on 24th July 2024 when President Tinubu assented to that very bill, Southeast Development Commission Bill, and it turned to the Southeast Development Commission Act. The board was inaugurated, and also the other statutory stakeholders of the commission. They were inaugurated on 12th February 2025. So by my calculation, they began work a year plus. 2025 February, that should be a year and some months.
5 months.
5 months or thereabouts. I'm also aware that many Nigerians are worried about the takeoff of this very commission. The commission has been in existence, just like I said earlier on, a year and 5 months. But it has been stuck primarily on institutional setup, strategy development, stakeholders engagement, and launching enabling programs, rather than large-scale physical infrastructure projects, as expected. The truth remains, there are no major completed bricks and mortar projects since the commission was institutionalized, was set up, was inaugurated.
What is expected?
Which aligns with his statement that it is not designed for quick wins. That's what Mark said when he was questioned on this. Last time they had a conference in Enugu, he was questioned about the cost of the conference when he brought the governors of the Southeast and, the very conference we are talking about, the Southeast Vision 2050 Regional Stakeholders Forum that took place in Enugu, where it was a multi-day, convening for alignment on long-term development. The question was on the cost, but that's by the way.
That was over 400 million, if I recall. But I want you to point out something, Tony. What is expected of a regional developmental commission?
If you ask me what are the things expected of regional development commission, they come in different areas. They look at, one, the economy of the region, the infrastructural deficit of the region, and also vital projects that the region should also have to boost investment, to boost also economic growth. You look at power, you can talk about electrification.
Are they expected to execute or recommend?
No, they execute as
Okay.
well. They execute. You can look at issue of roads, bridges, and also power, water, electrification, hospitals, schools, housing, jetties, economic empowerment programs. These are the expectations. They can even come to issue of environmental protection, canalization, the silting, flood control, erosion projects. They can do some of these things. There are so many things they can do. But the issue is 16.6 billion so far received by Southeast Development Commission. According to Audrey Zakalo, he made a statement that not of the billion is still in that account. That's one of the things he was actually trying to infer. But Mark told him that last he checked, that they have up to about 12 to 13 billion.
And one of the members said, according to the CBN, they have 13 billion.
One of the members of the commission.
Yes,
but
according to the CBN.
That's what he said that, but Ojo Zakalo now repeated that they made inquiries from CBN if they expose what they have here.
I think there's a mix-up here. Ojizo Carlo accepted that they have up to 13
No, he did not accept.
No, he did accept. I was now telling Mark that you are not even sure of what you have. Somebody beside Mark was telling him you have between 11.5 to 12 billion. And then a member of the committee said you have 13 billion. And Ojizo Carlo is inferring that you don't even know what you have.
No. The thing is, from what I observed, because he was saying that they have a dossier. But he was also curious and critical of Mark of not knowing what they have as maybe the MD, because the person behind him was the one telling him some of the things he was actually saying.
Yes.
But let's put it because he could be under pressure. When you're under.
He said the last time he was updated.
And he said last time he was updated, last time he checked. No, he cannot check. But I'm still.
But does he run the account?
Exactly. And he said he needed a week to get his document ready.
Hold on. There was something I want us to maintain here, because when you say Joseph account, because Abaribe made his own remark, because we are seeing one version of this very video. The argument is they don't have that amount in the bank, that they should come and explain where the money went to.
In my understand, what I saw in that video is that while you have that amount, now if you take 13 billion out of 16.6 billion, it means you have 3.6 billion to still answer for, and that's no mean figure.
No. You are making a mistake. I wish that we have a comprehensive video.
Franklin, you saw the entire video.
I've watched like 3 videos. Now, the issue is that they require Mark to explain how the commission spent about 3.something billion, because from the videos I've watched so far, of course they agreed that SEDC has up to 13 billion in the account as verified by CBN. So whether the issue of whether they have 13 million or 12 billion, I don't think it's on that question.
The question is, the one you said you spent, how?
The one you said you spent, how? And then what are the projects you have executed? What are the things you committed the money into? That's what I pictured from what videos I have reviewed so far. About 3 of them I have watched. So the issue of them having balance in millions, no, that one doesn't arise. Now look at the issue, because for me, what I've been looking at is this. From the video we have seen so far, how do we get to analyze what happened that very yesterday? Now, can we say that from what happened yesterday that Mark is being unfairly criticized? That's number one. Then number two, can we say that what we saw yesterday was a setup for drugs and media trial? Another one is, from the viral videos we have seen so far, from what the videos contain, can we say that this is a basis to establish whether money has been misspent or mismanaged? The another one is this. That Senate committee that sat yesterday, did that committee establish any wrongdoing in what the SEDC has done so far under Mark? And then finally, what can we say that Ojo Carlo established? Was there any element of angst in what we saw yesterday, as some persons have inferred? Because he talked about the commission spending 153 million
on a one-room space office.
He didn't explain what it is. I didn't allow Mark to explain what it is. And this morning when I came, I was talking about this hotel. I said, I cannot evaluate what was spent based on what Ojo Carlo said, because we do not know the kind of space he was referring to. Is it just a one room? That one room, is it for a rent for 1 year? Does it cover, rent, fittings, running the office, utilities, the location? And I can remember that I mentioned that if the location of that very office is in Maitama, the cost is going to vary. And thank goodness that there's now explanation, which we're going to get to. So, Tony, the questions I have raised, let's even start from that. From what we have seen, from what we saw that happened yesterday, is Mark being unfairly criticized? That's number one question. And then whether he was given the opportunity to defend the expenditures already made by that very commission.
I think if you look at what happened yesterday, there was more like already made opinions before the commencement of the committee. This is not the first time we had a snippet of things like this, because this should be the second time. That was the first instance where Mark was being accused of not, running the commission the way it should be run, not taking on project. There has been spending so much time on institutional setup, just like I said earlier on. But yes, just like we all saw, whether he was given a fair hearing to explain certain things, and what Senator Okale, he was furious about some of the development. He said he was disappointed. Of course, many of the members of the committee, they also maintained that they were disappointed because the committee has about 16.6 billion naira 2025 budget allocation, and interestingly, that has been released. It was released in December 2025. That was December last year. That 16.6 billion was released, and the budget in view focused on a number of things, projects that were actually itemized when they made the budget defense. But the committee had a pre-thought that the operators of the commission, they have been on alleged financial recklessness, poor accountability, and lack of tangible project despite the funds. Now, you mentioned the issue of 153 million naira spent on renting a one-room, they call it a liaison office. Remember, their headquarters is in Enugu. What they have in Abuja is a liaison office. But you saw Ojo Carlo heavily criticizing that very rent as exorbitant and unjustifiable, especially with the commission's corporate headquarters being in Enugu. But Mark was trying to explain that it's just a temporary arrangement during headquarters renovation. But lawmakers found it outrageous, even why it was a temporary area, why the main headquarters in Enugu was being renovated or put together. Why could you spend 153 million naira on rent? And also the issue of 3.6 billion naira allegedly spent, because we have also agreed that the Senate, via Central Bank of Nigerian data, indicated that only about 11 to 13 billion remained unspent, implying significant outflows without a single project. And the committee also described the financial report as unacceptable and demanded full accounting for expenditures. As far as that 3.6 billion naira is concerned, what did you use 3.6 billion naira for? In their report, the report has it that 2.5 billion is implied expenditure. That's what they classified in the report, 2.5 billion as implied expenditure. They did not make a sort of detailed breakdown and justification. You can't just tell us that this is implied expenditure. What do you mean by implied expenditure? The truth remains that I understand the frustration, because if you look at the broader concern over financial mismanagement and lack of visible impact and visible project, it included insufficient documentation, potential misuse of public funds, and slow progress on actual development projects in the early stages of the commission. Remember, Mark, when he was inaugurated, I have said it before now, he set up a number of long-term plans. But some of these senators are concerned about short-term, even medium-term, not long-term plans. I recall when he was telling them that he has a target of growing the Southeast economy from $40 billion to about $200 billion by 2035. That is a 10-year transformation plan, which we position it as Africa's preferred investment destination. But they focus on key 4 areas: industrialization, agriculture, technology, and also creative economy. These are these 4 areas of development. And if you look at it, he is not talking about infrastructure, but he says for you to have industrialization, you must touch infrastructure, because it cannot just come. For you to have technology, you must also touch infrastructure. Even for you to have a creative economy, you must touch infrastructure. That's why he has set up Southeast Vision 2050 Regional Stakeholders Forum, which we talked about earlier on. He also talked about issue of the pitch competition event. Remember that pitch competition event? The Southeast Venture Capital Program and Fund, which is a $50 million program to support startup innovations, and also included a major pitch competition, which maybe he has rolled out. Then the issue of Southeast Grassroots Recreation Infrastructure Development, they call it SEGRID. SEGRID, that is Southeast Grassroots Recreation Infrastructure Development, which he sees as youth and sports development initiatives, where he has phase 1, which he says is underway. That is still within the policy frameworks, feasibility studies, and concept for regional projects in rails, power, gas, industrial parks, agro estate, economic corridors, and tourism, and so many things he mentioned. But these things appear fantastic on theory, because if you are saying things like this, people say this man must be fantasizing, he must be dreaming. But people are looking around, how could this be achieved?
Simple.
And he has not hit the ground running.
That's a year and 5 months later.
He hasn't. If you look at other development commissions, I'm gonna let you know that we don't have just Southeast Development Commission alone, because even as we speak now, 3.6 billion naira has not been explained on how it was spent and where or things that we are spent on.
But also, sorry to butt in there. There has been a Southeast Venture Capital Program, more like an economic empowerment.
We talked about. I talked about.
That's what I'm saying. So I think that accounts for some of the money. The conference that happened accounts for some of the money. What's it called now? The rents now that they are talking about.
If you and salaries and salaries of staff.
I mean, 3.6 billion.
See, if you look at it, let's be real. 3.6 billion is a huge amount of money.
Absolutely.
And you can't just tell me that the money went flying in some of the things, conference and.
No, there's been empowerment done actually.
No. If you talk about, I just cited a youth and sports initiative, which it says is under phase 1. Do you even know about it?
Well, on the there's been some.
No.
I would say minor publicity.
No.
I understand what you mean, Tony. It doesn't have the kind of impact that is expected of it.
And let me say this: you don't start that way.
I agree.
That's not the best way to start.
I am just stating what may not be very obvious, but is in the credit books of the SEDC.
Let me say this: do you know that the oldest development commission we have in this country is Niger Delta Development Commission? That's the oldest. After Niger Delta Development Commission, we have the Northeast Development Commission after the Boko Haram saga. And I want to tell you that even the Northeast Development Commission has executed hundreds of projects. In fact, over 700 reported in some objects, including roads, bridges, about 14 under construction,
Tony,
housing for resettlement, and so many things.
For good context, not to hold brief for this very SEDC, but I think for us to have this very comparison based on good ground, we can compare Southeast Development Commission with Southwest Development Commission, because they were established
at the same time,
almost the same time. I think that was March 2025. So that's the comparison we can do to know what the two are doing. Because for my own record, there's no known project that has been completed by the Southwest Development Commission. It's still at the point of conception of ideas. Now, what we have known to be the grand idea of the commission from the Southwest is that, it has secured this very provisional rail operating and track license, because they want to operate passenger and freight services on existing tracks, not to build a new one. This is the known grand idea they have already put out. But aside from this one, they are still at the point of conceiving ideas, trying to form technical partnership with development agencies like Dawn Commission, so that they could be able to align with physical planning, urban development, and what have you not. But I want us to look at some other issues, because for me, I'm more concerned about the things that we are raised. Now, if you look at the oversight yesterday, it was almost combative, and I think that Mark should have been allowed the time to explain some of the things that we are raised on that platform. But he didn't get the right time to explain those things. And we saw the video clips of the issues raised by the commission or raised by the Senate committee led by Joseph Kalo. We didn't see videos of what Mark responded as a responses to the issues raised. Now look at the statement that SEDC has issued this very morning. That statement came about 10 minutes ago. And they've tried to explain some of the things that were raised there. You know, one of the things that was raised at that hearing yesterday was the fact that the commission spent 153 million naira on renting a one-room liaison office in Abuja. That was the way it was put out. Then there's the issue of a 2.5 billion, which was classified as implied expenditure. These are some of the issues that we are raised. Now look at what the commission has explained this very morning. Now on the issue of the so-called one-room liaison office, now the commission has said that that so far what is being referred to is this. Now the commission is saying that as regards to the liaison office, I'm just trying to get to that part now, so that we'll be able to put this in, to put it out there. So it's saying that the expenditure cited reflect. I'm going to read what they wrote. That the expenditure cited, that's the 153 million, reflects the cumulative cost of establishing and running the office since its inauguration on 11 February 2025 to date. Now it covers rent, operational cost, utilities, basic fit-out work across the entire period. This is what has been explained that covered that 153 million. Then on the issue of the implied cost, the commission is saying that that implied cost is the cost that they have so far incurred in renovating a building that was transferred to the commission by Enugu State government for them to use as their headquarters for the operations. And they're saying that the contract was awarded in accordance with the Public Procurement Act of 2007, and it was approved by Bureau of Public Enterprise. The procurement, and there was also concurrence by supervising ministry. So if those who were supposed to approve the contract approved, is it on the table of Mark to answer for the expenditure?
Of course he is. It is everything that happens in that very commission. He is the one that is answerable. He's the MD and then the CEO. And let me also put this in context, because you mentioned something about the Southwest Development Commission and North Central Development Commission. We must be very,
I mentioned Southwest.
Well,
I
Southwest.
said we compare Southwest because two we established almost the same time.
No, not the same time.
Almost at the same time. February, March.
I think, let me be very sure. I have to be
Southwest and Southeast we established almost the same time.
Now, you said almost the same time, and I have to be very...
February and March 2025.
Okay, because I'm aware that the Southwest Development Commission came on board on March 2025. We are talking about... it was inaugurated. We talk about, we are making mistakes here. Southeast was set up 2024.
Inaugurated
2025.
And that's
hold on.
When the office
Can you allow me to talk? Hold on. I want us to be very exact. Allow me to talk. Southwest Development Commission was set up. It was signed on March 2025 by President, and it was inaugurated around August. It took off around August. Then go back to Southeast. Southeast was signed in 2024. Southwest signed in 2025. But Southeast, it was inaugurated on 2025 around February or thereabout. We talked about earlier on. But this one was inaugurated around August. Not this, almost the same time. We are talking about a space of 4 or 5 months. I want us to be exact.
No, don't excuse me.
But let me say what I want to say.
Somebody said that we are established almost the same time, and you're saying a space of 4 to 5
yes.
months. So what's the difference?
I want us to be specific. That's the difference.
No.
Why I say this is because
when somebody said almost the same time, so what's space of 4 months? And you're saying it's not almost
let me
the
ask you
same
something.
time.
Frank, if you start work,
it's almost the same time.
Hold on. If you start work around February,
it's almost
and
the same
somebody
time.
hold on. If you start to work around February and somebody start around August, is it fair in our own explanation to say almost the same time. You started February, somebody started August.
Tony, if you say somebody began August and
February, yes,
and somebody says that they began almost the same time.
No, you're not being fair.
So
okay, can we not dwell on this, please?
You're not being fair.
Can we not dwell on this because we have so many issues and we have less than 15 minutes?
I think what you will say that is fair is that they started the same year but at different times.
Okay, so we agree that they started the same year, Tony. We agree that they started the same year. They started the same year.
Let me say this thing.
Let's quickly round off on this.
Southwest has launched a program.
Which is?
About a rural economic program. I'm coming. Hold on. Hold on. They had not spent so much money on publicity as we have had in our Southeast Development Commission. And my own is this. We have been busy spending money on publicity. We just finished talking about Wike. Doing so much on publicity, and we worried. Where is the money coming from?
Okay, Tony, to quickly round off this conversation, give me a second, Franklin. It looks like there is an endemic problem with developmental commissions in Nigeria. From the days of Niger Delta Development Commission, I remember off the mic, one day, or whose side are you on?
Exactly.
And then we have the Southwest Developmental Commission. As much as they have not spent so much, they have flagged off a project that has no life in it yet. All right? And then there is a Southeast Developmental Commission on the table now, and we're understanding there are certain uncertainties. And now my question, and will be the last on this matter, is: are these developmental commissions serving the needs of the different regions in Nigeria?
So far, they have not.
Thank you. So what do we do? Because there's a campaign going on X now. Hashtag
scratch this. But
scratch it. Let Mark out of office.
Let me say this: Niger Delta Development Commission, they have their own problems, but they have done things that you can cite. They have done so much, but they are oldest since 2000.
2000, yes.
That's their oldest. So you cannot bring them into comparison.
No, this is 26 years later, right?
Yeah.
And a child of 26 years, hell no, has a university degree.
Yeah,
okay? And is the life of Niger Delta people showing that they had a 26-year-old project?
Even not,
no, it is not.
Northeast Development Commission has done over 700 projects.
How many of them are commensurate? How many of them can the people look around and say, we are better off because this commission exists?
In Nigeria, if you ask me how many of these projects would people say that we are better off because of these projects exist, for me, is neither here.
So at the end of the day, these commissions are not serving. The question now is, do we scrap them? And what will be the alternative?
The idea behind this commission is this: when we are talking about regional government, people believe is one step at a time.
But they are not serving. They are just
let me say
taking us round.
I like being honest. I like being honest. See, let me be honest. If I were in the position of Mark, people should by now started seeing impact.
So I ask again, should we scrap developmental commission?
You will not scrap it because few people you put in there have not hit the ground running, and you are talking about scrapping it. You will say, do we change those managing dates and probably relaunch a new mandate and set up how it should be? Hit the ground running.
Okay, thank you, Frank.
Let me say something, because each time we talk about development, we have been accustomed to the idea of construct roads, build bridges, do this, those physical things. That's our idea of development, and our minds have not been open to other things outside this. There are things somebody can do for today. You think the person is not doing anything, but in 10 years to come, you begin to see the footprints of what has been laid, and that could be a foundation for sustainable development. What am I talking about? Now, we're talking about a commission that nobody's holding brief for. Like, I think the last time they talked about their budget or what have you not, on this platform we criticize it, and that one was gone. I'm talking about what happened yesterday. Now, looking at what that happened yesterday, the issues raised on that during that very oversight function, that's where I'm dwelling. Issues were raised. Did they give in enough room to explain those things and provide answers? Then we can now judge whether the answers he provided were tenable or not. So by the time he comes back next week and provide the answers to the questions raised, we can now come back and say whether the answers provided were germane or not. By then we'll be able to establish whether there is financial malfeasance, whether there is misappropriation, whether there is diversion or not. In that very case, we can now say, okay, Mark, you have done this, you have done that, or you have not done this, you have not done that. Now, what I'm now looking at now is this. Because if each time we mention this issue of development commission, like I said before, I want our people to also think of the fact that it's not all about physical projects. I cannot support the commission to go ahead, spend money on seminars, spend money on doing this, doing that. But now look at this. There's one project they launched.
Okay.
The project for startups.
Okay.
I know they have committed money into that very project. Somebody was asking about how they were selected and what have you not. But I know that about 1,200 applications were sent in by startups. And they selected, I think at the end of the day, they came down to about 28 or thereabout. And they did their last pitching in Enugu. There were people who were invited to listen to the pitches and select businesses that are going to get funding from the venture capital. Now, imagine that these very startups get the funding and they begin to try. And in about 10 years' time, out of these 28, let's say 20 survive, and they were able to expand and employ people. Is it not part of the development?
I think, let me answer this question, as I took time to listen to you, because you are talking about how to start. If you are being appointed a manager, expectations are high. You talked about regional development not being on infrastructures and all that. You need those infrastructures to grow economy. Without infrastructure, you're not growing any economy. It's more like foundation. Infrastructures are foundation for growing economy. Look at Mwike. Mwike spent 100 days in office. We saw projects he commissioned. 100 days in office. Mwike spent 1 year in office. We saw projects. You don't grow economy without infrastructures. They are the foundation upon which economy is grown. If you start leaving foundation and start talking about roofing, so maybe what do you call it, other things, putting windows, you are jumping. Do the foundation work. The foundation is basic amenities, basic infrastructures. Put them together, because that's where everything will spring on. I will not blame Wike, because why people are commending him even when he is playing the kind of politics he's playing is because he understands these things. When he celebrated 1 year in office, we saw projects he commissioned. Mark, I don't know, he has spent 1 year in office. He is still doing publicity. Wike has spent more than 1 year in office. We are judging Wike's 1 year and Mark Okoye's 1 year. That's what we are judging now.
Right.
Can you compare the two? Wike's 1 year is far more better than Mark Okoye's 1 year in office as SDC. Let's be real. I'm not doing this to hold brief. It's not about publicity. Infrastructure should be the foundation of any economy in the world. That's how to start. Not all these roof startup. I understand what you're trying to say.
Tony has a point. But what I want us to
I understand you.
What I want us to notice is this:
the long-term plan.
Look at Money Point, for instance. Now, look at Flutterwave. Who doesn't know Money Point and Flutterwave? Across the world, who doesn't know?
Everybody knows. Most people.
So, how many people have they employed since they started?
The last time I checked, Money Point talked about how there's been a lot of vacuum because there's no people are not employable.
Because what I'm saying in essence is the physical infrastructure, they're all good, but that should not always preoccupy their mind that is the only way of
no.
Because if one of these startups now they are going to support eventually ranks like Money Point, wouldn't that be a plus to the economy of the Southeast? That's what I want us to.
Yes, but Tony's point is it is taking too much time.
I'm not disputing his point. What I'm saying is let's expand our mindset about it.
Right.
We should expand our mindset, but
okay.
He also should know that expectations are right. Because you know why I'm saying this? I have been a manager of a business. I know the expectations. You know the priorities. Set them right. Follow them. And maybe for one reason, just like he said, we must give him enough space to answer some of those things. We cannot judge in a hurry, because he has next week to come back and then explain some of the things, decisions, and why everything seems to be taking time. He should go and monitor how Wike was able to commission projects in 1 year as a way to start, as foundation to FCT economy. Because his own is region, Wike's own is just federal capital territory. But we understand that in terms of land mass, FCT, I don't know, compared to Southeast, maybe slightly. But we understand that he has the governors of Southeast to leverage on, and Wike has the president to leverage on.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at what's brewing in the political circle, especially around the NDC. Since after the controversial primary. I mean, literally all the primary elections in the country this year have had some sort of controversies trailing them, and the NDC has not been left out. It's been back and forth. On the 8th of June, Kenneth Okonkwo, who was with the LP in 2023 and now with the ADC, granted an interview, and he made all sorts of damning allegations. As a matter of fact, he said a lot of things that I don't even want to say, and Mr. Pichirobi, through his legal team, has sued him for 5 billion in defamation and assassination of character and the likes. Now, we also understand that the man whom Kenneth quoted in that interview on television has come out to defend himself. I have a few clips from the man, Obonike Ohebu, telling his side of the story. And also, Kenneth Okonkwo has put out screenshots of where he alleged that Obonike told him that Obi is the person that, I don't know, however excited to concoct it. But of course, you can see the screenshots for yourself and see how immaterial they are. But listen to Obonike himself. And
because that is not what the party told us. And the member representing Dunu Kofia, which is the federal constituency of His Excellency Mr. P2B, was asked not to run because it would not be fair if he runs. It will not be fair to other local governments. And that happened in so many other local governments. So it would be wrong to say that the person representing us, who has never been to my community, and never been to my local government in the election, will have automatic ticket. And when, especially, it makes it worse when it's being rumored that the senatorial candidate will come from his local government. His local government is, with due respect, the smallest local government in the federal constituency. We have 3, Neu North, Neu South, Episcopal Federal Constituency. My local government has 20 wards. His has 12. Neu North is bigger in terms of population. So if Senate is already there, House of Reps shouldn't be there. The other local government will be considered. So that was the broadcast I sent. And he called me. We started discussing, and I sent him a message. And I said, the National Secretary of the party, I have also sent this message to the National Secretary of the party, reminding him that you told me, the National Secretary, on 4th of May, 4th of May, 5th of May, told me that if you pay 10 million naira, you will have the position locked for you. I have also demanded from the National Secretary, this is what you told me. I paid 10 million naira. I sent him proof that I made that payment. And the National Secretary, and I told the National Secretary, if he eventually, after telling me that a lot of people still paid, I am willing, as part of my reconciliation effort, as the person who won the election on ground, for me not to have a credibility challenged ticket, that I'm going to refund every person that paid that 10 million from my federal constituency, if any other person other than me paid. Because on ground, I won the election. I am the only candidate that campaigned in the federal constituency. I am the only candidate that pasted posters in the federal constituency. I am the only candidate that was funding the meetings in the federal constituency. Somebody cannot, because he or she believes that he was promised ticket, we go and grab the ticket without going to the... If you see the video of, especially by local government, the day we had that election, if you say NDC, the only thing people will know, people will shout is, Mwamis. I'm called Mwamis.
Okay, so that was Obonadike trying to establish that he actually did everything that he was supposed to do to clinch the ticket.
We don't see running in my vein, and I'm sure some people will understand. If he said, P2B told me, on the face of it, the greatest thing I am looking for now is to represent the people of Neu North and Neu South Federal Constituency. If I have ever said, either through text or if Kenneth will in any way show, and in any way I've exported all my conversation to you.
Yes, in the spirit of transparency, you did say that you are going to export it, and you did your conversation with me.
So if there is anywhere in that message I said I met with P2B throughout this process, I will apologize.
He didn't say so. He didn't.
Okay, so he was saying he will apologize.
With the National Secretary. As a matter of fact, the National Secretary told me that all my discussions with him, that he did that in his capacity as the National Secretary. My exchange with him. And he told me if I have problems, I should go straight to the party, which I have actually done. This morning, my lawyers will be filing papers against the party.
All right.
But what I'm addressing now, he said that P2B told us to go and pay 10 million naira, that he needed the money for his campaign.
10 million naira bribe.
So I'm saying that 10 million naira I paid from the information which is in the message I sent to you too. From the information I got from the National Secretary was paid in the account of the NDC.
Okay. So, Tony, you already have the answers there. That's Obonadike's side of the story. He said he never accused Obi of asking for bribe. While Kenneth Okonkwo went on national television to say that Obi asked for 10 million naira in bribe, and Obonadike's messages to him a proof. So I need us to reconcile both. What do you think? I mean, Obi has been everywhere, by the way, painting Obi all sorts of colors since he left the LP. All right. Yesterday, videos also trended of him being left desolate at Atiku's waiting room. He's been a man who's been talking a lot lately, and I am curious to find out the things he said. Are there some sort of Kenneth doing his thing, talking a lot, the smear campaign that he's been about for some time now? Or is there something really underway, especially with the things happening with the AD seasons after their primaries?
Well, we know that Kenneth Okonkwo, he's doing a job he's paid for. And I saw when Rotimi Chibika came to Atiku's apartment, Kenneth Okonkwo was sighted being outside. In fact, he was seated like a security guard. And when Amechi was passing, the way and manner he bowed to greet Amechi and smiled the way he smiled, I said, oh, I had thought that this man was always with Atiku. I never knew that Atiku could be somewhere with some people. You'll be outside waiting for him like other security guards do. But nevertheless, from that very video I saw, I understand that he has been paid by Atiku to go and demarcate P2B, but he's not doing it professionally. Yes, because definitely if you're contesting anything with your opponent, you will find a way to demarcate your opponent and market yourself, because they are selling themselves to Nigerians. Nigerians are the buyers. They will buy through the votes, and they are all there. One person will try to say what other persons are not doing and things he has capacity to do, but Kenneth has not been doing it professionally. If you look at his allegations, just like the ones we were actually trying to digest, where he explicitly and specifically said that Obi and Southeast NDDC leaders demanded 10 million bribe from House of Representative aspirant, that is Obiniko Hebu we are talking about. He made such statements. The question is, he said Obiniko Hebu was the one that told it. Did he verify before coming to make such statement? Because you have to, if somebody tells you something, you don't rush to say that it is so. You can only say it is so when you have subjected it to your own personal verification. You said, somebody told me this, and I also verified and discovered that it was true. But somebody told you something which the person has also refuted. You rush and said that is the case. He wants to say that Obi has been in the business of scamming people, that Obi will scam aspirants and keep telling people that he does not give cheche, but he collects cheche. I listen to him. And it is imperative to point out, probably between him and Obi, there is a business gone bad. There is a business. Probably when he was doing media work for Obi, Obi believed he was doing it voluntarily. He thought that Obi would have a fat booklet, but he has come out many times to say that when he was doing those things for Obi, he never expected anything. If he had not expected anything, why would he be disappointed? But he has always maintained that Obi is not decisive. When it comes to issues, he should speak up as a leader, especially in the case of Julius Abure Saga. He wouldn't want to get involved, and as a result, that was why he left him. But we have discovered that could be not the reason. There could be other reasons. Could be because Obi is not giving out money, and for him to say that he doesn't give cheche, he collects cheche, it tells you why he left Obi. It's not all these reasons he mentioned. Because I do listen to people and I also make my own analysis. He doesn't give cheche, but he collects cheche. That tells you a lot. And he went further to say that Obi do collect money, that he travels abroad to collect money from individuals as part of fundraising, that he doesn't account for that. And he also went further to say that Obi and Southeast leaders were involved in criminal activities, running a criminal enterprise. That's a very weighty word. He said Obi is a fraud on national television, that they run a criminal enterprise, and that for voting Obi, NDC equates to voting for criminality. That's what he said. He called Obi all manner of names. At a point, he was interchanging Obi's name with fraud. And that's why he said the anchor of that program should not allow some of those statements. And for me, if I listen, you can't come to my program and call somebody fraud and allow you to go. You cannot. You cannot. But there's those anchors, some of us think that they are super anchors. They allow these things slide. We must maintain the decorum of this profession. Whatever you think or whatever you believe that somebody has done, please come up with a proof. Come up with a proof. And I have always said, even if somebody is caught doing something red-handed, the person is also deemed to be innocent before the law until proven guilty by the court. But somebody comes on national television and calls. I'm not saying this because it is this person or because it is that person. But I know that between him and Obi, there was a business that went wrong. Possibly Obi did not pay him as he expected.
There are many possibilities hanging in the air, but with Obinadike's statement, what do you think now? What do you think this is going to end up in, real quickly, so we can open the phone lines?
Well, for me, Obinadike is trying to
exonerate himself,
saying that he paid that money, 10 million, and he paid into NDC account. He never said that Obi and NDC leaders pressured him or asked him to pay. And there was no way Obi was involved. That was what he's trying to do, trying to exonerate Obi from this. And that forms the reason why Obi legal team has instituted how many billion? I think
5 billion.
Is it 5 billion? 5 billion defamation suit against Kenneth Okonkwo. And then they have also asked him to make some withdrawals, to make some apologies, and also failure to do that. Definitely they are going to meet him in court. You know, Kenneth Okonkwo, of course, he has called Obi betrayer, that Obi betrayed him, saying that he's not afraid of Obi, that Obi is afraid of competition, that Obi is incompetent, saying Obi, and he said quite a lot of things. But for me, I thought that he would come up with some weighty things against Obi. He is doing his work. Remember, all these things Kenneth Okonkwo is doing, take it or leave it, he has been commissioned by Atiku to do it, and he has applied for that job. Remember when he left Obi, he said that he wasn't going to work with any politicians. This is the day that he was out to promote. Immediately you know that he went to Atiku. Atiku has fat pockets, and he's a cheerful giver.
There are allegations that Atiku's pocket is no longer fat.
But he gives cheerfully. But the person that can even give you when he doesn't have is Bola Tinubu. He gives,
sorry,
let's quickly round off, please.
Let me add something, because the thing is this: at this point, it has been like, it's my word against his word, or my word against my word. As it is now, B has already put out something through his
lawyers,
legal representative, his lawyers. So it's now, if eventually Kenneth Okonkwo fails to adhere to what they wanted, because one, they said he should apologize, go to the same platform he used to spread the information, and use the same platform to apologize, and ensure that he gained the same traction. They even mentioned he should also go to those traction, even the one on YouTube and what have you not. If he fails to do that, they are going to file a suit against him. Now, I've been on Kenneth Okonkwo's page because he's trying to say that Obinike was trying to deny what he told him orally, and what he sent to him in a WhatsApp exchange. Now, in his claim of what Obinike told him orally, he said that Obinike told him that Peter Obi is part of, and trying to quote him, is part of the criminal element. And I'm just going to pick out a part. He said, indeed, I asked him a question when we were discussing orally. Are you telling me that Peter Obi is the head of this criminal gang that defrauded you people? He answered, P2B is the head, stomach, and the feet of the criminal gang. Right? As a matter of fact, he pleaded with me to save our people from the criminality of P2B. Now, he has replicated the long message that Obunike sent to him on WhatsApp. If you go to his Twitter handle at Real Kenneth Okonkwo, you will see that. In that statement, I have gone through that.
There's no weird.
Let me read it. Let me read it.
Obunike said that P2B was
Is the
somewhere
head-
right.
See his intention. I'm reading the WhatsApp message he posted on X. Please send the message so I can use it for interview tomorrow. Do you see the plan? I intend to use your name and message as evidence to prove that P2B is responsible for this fraud. I believe that P2B will find a way to start refunding you people your money after the interview. Obunike now replied, I am Obunike Ohebu, aspirant for Nnewi North and Nnewi South Ekwusigo Federal Constituency. I'm saying that I was scammed and the party blames P2B. I was scammed and the party blames P2B. We send you message when I get home. What Obunike said in what Kenneth Okonkwo posted on X is that I was scammed and the party blames P2B.
And so does this point to any internal fractions in the NDC?
No, for me, we are trying to look at the merit of the statement.
Blames
P2B. The party
I'm actually
blames.
looking at the party and P2B right now.
No, I was scammed and the party blames P2B. I wanted to hear I was scammed by P2B. I was scammed, but the party blames P2B. So
080322.
you find out that Kenneth is not being honest based on even what he posted.
08032216930803827669. Now let's make this very simple. Let's do this in a minute each. Your name, your location, you go straight to the point. I am actually going to be seriously timekeeping this morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Tommy.
Good morning.
Donald Samdati, Frank, and my parliamentarians. Good morning to everybody.
You're welcome.
Parakeet Chuka calling from Onitsha. Do you see the reason why whenever I call and I always call Kenneth Okonkwo a judge and bear lawyer? This man is nothing but a judge and bear lawyer.
No, you cannot even call this because we are saying that you can't call somebody fraud and we allow it, and you cannot call somebody a judge and bear and we allow it.
I'm not calling him a fraud.
You have 30
because
seconds
if
left.
he is a pure lawyer, he must know that you don't say something that you cannot prove. That is the reason why. Because if you are a true barrister that is being called to bar, you must know that. My sister, I always remember the barrister you normally bring to this platform. There are some questions you ask me, he will tell you that I don't approve. I can't say something I cannot defend. So how can a lawyer
I have to let you go. Thank you very much. I said I'll be timekeeping. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Good morning, everyone in the studio.
You have a minute. Go ahead.
I am getting getting Tomasumogo.
Go ahead.
Yes, it is high time Senator Okonkwo's mouth is trimmed. That is large mouth should be trimmed. Always making a mess of P2B. And he has forgotten that he, Senator Okonkwo, is up to indicating that he wants to buy for any position. Get a form, pay for it, and then be voted for. Why is no one attacking P2B? It is now time that aspect of apology which P2B is looking for. I want that to be expunged immediately.
Thank you very much. Your time is shortly up. Let's hear you. 0803-221-6973. Hello, good morning. You have a minute.
Hello?
Good morning.
Hello, good morning. I'm speaking with the Pastor from Onitsha.
You have 52 seconds left.
This Kenneth Okonkwo to be arrested and put to court and being read truth about Peter Obi because it's been since ancient days they have been bringing all these things here and there about Peter Obi. I don't know what it is exactly with Peter Obi. He's supposed to be arrested now, not even out of the case. He's supposed to be detained so that you go to the court and give you 3 books about all what you have been saying about Peter Obi.
very much. Hello, good morning.
Good
Turn down
morning.
the volume on your radio set. Go ahead.
Good morning to everyone under the reach of my voice this morning. I am Honorable Odisi, and I'm calling from Treasury. Kenneth Okonkwo, for a very long time, I have decided not to comment anything about him. But the more I keep quiet, the more he tries to make me to talk. And I thank Peter Obi for coming out now. But Peter Obi has been ignoring all his utterances. You see, that man, Kenneth Okonkwo, is still living in bondage. For those of us that watched that movie back then, at the end of that movie, he said, now I am living in bondage. And that's what is playing out right now. You know, as wide as his mouth is, that's how anything that comes out from his mouth looks like. Thank you.
Let's focus on the issue and leave his personality and leave his person.
This is.
I forgot to even say there is no smoke without fire. We must also look at it from the other angle.
Good morning. Go ahead, please. What's your name? Where you're calling from?
From Onitsha.
Talk to us.
I think Kenneth Okonkwo should call to order because this is getting out of hand. You understand me? We all know that he's living in bondage. But an attack to people is an attack to the Holy Ghost. You understand me? He should call to order. He's getting too much. He's living in bondage. He was not living in bondage with him. Thank you very much.
All right, then. Good morning.
Good morning. Anthony Mechaka, calling from Onitsha.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
What Kenneth Okonkwo is doing is not a surprise to me because he's doing his PhD. Since he started this smear campaign against P2B, he's doing Reno Moki's job for him, and that is why Reno has kept his cool and his calm on P2B. So he's doing it so as to fulfill his payment task. And my happiness is that there is a faith that always defer those who smear and blackmail P2B. So I'm not worried an inch about it. So it is very, very obvious.
Thank
that
you.
His job is not.
Thank you very much. Your time is shortly up. Hello, good morning.
A wonderful morning to you, Chisonichine to Franklin Antonio Samik. Honorable Deacon, I'm bringing you from Onitsha. What Okonkwo is doing is not different from what Reverend Father Chikembaka is doing and other politicians. I just want to get the record straight here. Those who don't want a better Nigeria are seriously fighting in and out to see how they can scuttle this forthcoming election. But I want to tell them that it's not going to be business as usual. And also those that went to Open University and night school, you don't compare them with those that went to normal education. So I think Kenneth Okonkwo fall in that category.
Thank you very much. Your time is shortly up. One more call and we head over to Facebook. Good morning.
Good morning, my speaker. And Chisom. This is the voice of Honorable Gracious Okoye from Orange.
Let's hear you.
You see, all what Okonkwo is doing or saying cannot have people to be for us not voting him. But I only have one problem in this country.
Are you there? Hello?
Hello?
I think your network is a mess. You may move around. You might just be able to connect the next time you call. Good morning. Turn on the volume on your radio set. Thank you.
Hello. Good morning, all of you in the studio. Kenneth Okonkwo is a Nollywood actor.
We didn't get your name.
My name is Okeswar. I'm calling from Okoya Community of Imo State. Yes, Kenneth Okonkwo is a Nollywood actor. He jumped into politics without knowing the rudiments of politics. He is Judas that defends his master because of money. Who knows how many billions that Atiku must have given to him? If I were to be, I would jail him. I would jail Kenneth Okonkwo. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, jail him. You take a man to court first before he's jailed. Last caller, 45 seconds. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, good morning.
Hello?
Okay, let's head over to Facebook now.
Okay, so the post we have here, so let's begin from somewhere. Okay, this one says it's from John Mbo. It says it's strange that this DG office was given to a politician. Oh, sorry, I have to I have to go to another place now because the network just reloaded and took me to another page. So Sebastian Abibwe says it's really unfortunate that Kenneth Okonkwo probably for stomach infrastructure is always speaking from both sides of his mouth, since he doesn't want to change his utterances against Mr. Peter Obi. Honestly, I suggest that he is living in bondage. Okay. Obia Wiketu Christopher from Abatansuwe says, I tell you most solemnly, Mark has disappointed a lot of people after 1 year and no project to point at, and such amount of money was spent. I think he's suffering from what most young Nigerians or young politicians are suffering from, which is godfatherism. I'll try to shorten some of your posts. And then Festus Onyeka from Onitsha says that Mark is disgrace to the youth. He doesn't even know what amount is in the account. Okay, according to you, he was trembling because he was told to give simple accounts of a ministry that is not up to 2 years. Okay, John Number says it's showing that this DG office was given to a politician from outside APC. This cast a pall of doubt on the place of the governor of Imo State in the political matrix of the APC. Dr. Misimo Lebara says this is time for reform because the clamor for it soars higher each passing day. Economic reform ought to be a human face package to better the loss of living, where it translates to starving, impoverishing, and traumatizing the masses to death. Then it is for the dead and not the living. Okay, then Emmanuel Chiadi says Southeast Development Commission must take on some low-hanging fruit to enable him win people's confidence. As Pakinet Okonkwo, he's a mere demagogue, and I agree with Tony Mbeki. Okay. Then Ekegona says P2B is moving in right direction. Kenneth Okonkwo is trying to paint Mr. B black to Nigerians. And Jeku Bishop says tell Ababio that if the opposition is sponsoring security to discredit their government, then let them show the maturity by crushing the insecurity in the country. He posted from Accra, Ghana. And then Ugochukwu Frank says Kenneth Okonkwo should focus on marketing his paymaster article, also dwell more on the current president rather than defaming P2B for leaving a party with evil intention or exercising his constitutional rights. Also, Francis Omaganamani from Amagunse says, Amagunse is in Enugu State. He says, Mr. President has not achieved much in terms of economic transformation, looking at the country's huge external debt. Holy Boy says, the issue of cooking gas in Nigeria, according to him, a kg is sold for 2,000 naira. And he's wondering where the government is taking Nigerians to. Capiro International posted from Odumebosi. He says, I said yesterday that Kenneth Okonkwo should be sued. Maybe you'll be heard what I said. That's according to Capiro. Obaka Bata, thank you for being there. Onye Kachimu also says those NDGS. All right. Okay, I believe you're talking about the development commissions. He said they should be scrapped. They are doing nothing but just spoiling Nigerians. He posted for Obonike. Eze Hillary says the truth is that both P2B and Kenneth Okonkwo are running. Just that P2B is running for president. Kenneth, on the other hand, seems to be running. Okay. You know what you wrote, right? I'm not going to have you to complete that. Okay, so Mazimore said this Southeast Development Commission has not created or brought any positive growth and impact to the Southeasterners. Mr. Makukoye hasn't played a good role in his office. Why and how can he spend such amount of money for rent? In fact, I sense mismanagement of funds and corruption in this system. He posted from Udala, Onitsha. And Omaga Namani says our political class should be very mindful of the utterances and avoid anything capable of breaching the existing peace in the country. He mentioned Sheikh Gumi and Kenneth Okonkwo. And then Jeku says, please can someone tell me the project that has been developed and commissioned in the Southeast by the Southeast Development Commission since its inception? Or is it another conduit pipe for investment like the NDDC? And other people who posted, and the wisdom and others, we appreciate you for the
appreciate
inputs
you
made.
Absolutely. Thank you for being here. Gentlemen, Tony, your final words.
Well, we'll keep our ears on the ground and we follow every trend, and we come back here to
Absolutely.
tell you the way it is without mixing word. And also, P2B, there are times people will say there is no smoke without fire, but we understand that Kenneth, from the WhatsApp messages, he's on a mission. He said, we want to expose this man. We want to say
All right.
this,
Thank you. Franklin.
So permit me to read something from the extensive message that Obonike Ohebu sent to Kenneth Okonkwo before they now had the engagement that Tony read out. I'll take an extract from that very message. And it reads, this naturally raises a fundamental question. If no consensus meeting was held with the aspirants in Anambra State and no agreement was reached amongst those seeking nomination, my brother Ken, how did your friend arrive at the list of candidates that he allegedly produced at John Wood Hotel in Abuja? Another very note, if I'm going to make a submission, I still tell our people that the thing is this, I keep on saying this everything. For me, the Southeast Development Commission has not been able to measure up to what people are expecting. But on the other hand, I want people to understand that development is not always the way they want it. I'll give you an instance. The governor of Anambra State is doing what he's doing because he believes he has a vision for future generation. Many people in Anambra State are not seeing it as a vision. They are seeing it like he's wasting his time. But for him, he knows where he's headed. So the same thing can also apply to Mark. That's what I'm thinking. That he knows, he might know what he wants to build, but it's not transmitting to what people feel that he should be doing. Now, from what transpired yesterday, let's give them a space. By the time they return to this next week, let's see how they're going to defend the issues raised by the committee.
And not following what is contained in the budget, because they have a budget, which was also
very
approved.
much. Fingers crossed, 1 week time, we're definitely going to bring you updates. You know what we do here, bring you the news as it breaks, and of course keep you updated as it develops. The Polity is going to make a return tomorrow, 9:15 down to 11 a.m. right here on Udala Radio 104.7 FM. 1 whole hour of good music coming your way. Right after that, 12 o'clock on News Bulletin at noon, and by 12:25, the Cherry Box, your one-stop show for latest entertainment gist and of course the weirdest stories to make it to the internet in the past 24 hours. I am Chisom Chinedu. I'll see you around. Don't touch that dial. It's Udala Radio 104.7 FM.